Colleges in Alabama, including UAH, are continuing with Sentinel Testing. Students, faculty, and staff can all participate in the testing. Each week, a random sample of people are tested to determine how COVID-19 is spread and to monitor the presence of the virus on college campuses. They started Sentinel Testing last month and have given around 8,000 tests. Just over 0.4% of people have tested positive so far.
What we want to do with Sentinel testing is be able to test and monitor those folks who are not demonstrating symptoms to sort of root it out early and avoid that asymptomatic spread.
Sentinel testing is being done on over 40 campuses. The testing will continue throughout the fall semester.